You hear it outside? It's the season where the cicadas are going. Can you hear them? Maybe a little hard with this mic. Now, from what I understand, those fellows stay buried in the ground for 12, 17 years. And then when it's their time, they come out for a couple of brief weeks, do their thing, and that's it. The next generation waits in the ground, and the cycle repeats. It doesn't seem that they're quite measuring time like you and I do. For a brief moment, they do their thing. But we in human life, we tend to think that time is money, that the more points we rack up, the better. The more time we spend, the more it must be worth it. That long is better than short, and big is better than small. That's not true for Zazen. When we sit Zazen, we turn off the taximeter. It's not a matter of trying to rack up points. As a matter of fact, when you give up all thoughts of points to rack up, the ball goes right through the basket. There she is. Every day I get emails from folks who say, well, my Zazen practice is going better. Yesterday I was sitting 10 minutes and now today I can sit 15. Or I used to sit 15 and now I sit 30 or 40 twice a day, 4 times a day. And I think that's really, really wonderful. But at the same time, you must drop all thought of measure. How do you do that? It is true in Zen practice that one moment holds all time. 1,000,000 moments, endless ages, are in every tick of the clock. I know that's kind of hard to believe, but it's what you get when you drop all thought of time. Truly, sitting Zazen for an instant is as much a treasure as sitting for 1,000 years. When we drop all thought of the clock running and points being racked up. Now, does that mean that I'm recommending to you to sit for a couple of seconds of Zazen and then get on with your day? Well, not really. You see, after our busy day, watching our watch, or these days, well, I don't carry a watch, I got my cell phone, running here and there, appointments to get to. I got to finish this video and then I got to get my son off to school. There's 1,000,000 places to go. After running around like that all day, we sit on the cushion and we recall the timeless, that which cannot be measured. But in order to do that, it takes us a few minutes to settle in, settle down. Different people report that for themselves. They can take a breath. They can drop away all the thoughts of their day, the places to go, the people to see. But it takes a few minutes to settle in there. So in order to recognize the timeless, it takes a little time. In our Sangha, we recommend for busy people 15 minutes of sitting per day. At least once. But once is enough. As I said, 15 seconds is enough if you're one of those gifted people who can truly recognize the timeless just at the drop of a hat. But for most of us, it takes a little while to settle in, to let things go, to just be, to drop it all aside. 15 minutes is about right. And if you can do 20, if you can do 30, more power to you. And if you can sit for 4 times a day, all the better. But stop running the race. you're not racking up points. If you sit for 4 hours, getting deeper and deeper and more and more and more and more, and you're just thinking of it as another chase, you're chasing your own tail. Your 4 hours are not more valuable in that case than sitting for 4 minutes. In fact, you're just spinning your wheels. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not time to go off to deeper retreats, longer retreats. We have a friend, Mr. K, who comes here often to sit Zazen Kai with us. Our Zazen Kai is about an hour and a half. Then we, once a month, have a 4-hour Zazen Kai. We sit 30 minutes of Zazen several times. But Mr. K went off to Antaiji, which is famous for its long sesshin. And I mean, they sit up there. It's no chanting, no talking. They don't even, well, they barely take time to eat and go to the bathroom. They sit 15, 17 hours a day, I believe, sometimes longer. 50 minutes of Zazen, followed by 10 minutes of Kinhin, followed by another 50 minutes of Zazen, one after the other with barely a break. Am I saying that that's not worth it? No. Sometimes it is good for us to sit long as the self sits long and hard, the me, myself, and I, wrestling with the me, myself, and I until all is dropped away. It has real value because, listen to me closely, sometimes it takes a bit of time to realize that there is no time. Sometimes we have to work really, really hard and try to get the fact in our bones that there's nothing to get. The cicadas are not living life on the same scale as we are. And if there are creatures from other worlds, some of them described in the old Buddhist sutras that live for tens of thousands, tens of millions of years, they would come and look at us on Earth and say, how can those creatures live for just a flash of an eye? But we do. It depends on the value that we find in it. There are times to sit for a day, time to sit for endless hours, one after the other, day after day. Yes, it's a good thing to do. But in our usual day-to-day, let's sit beyond time. 15 minutes is good. Once a day, twice a day. And even for a second, even for a breath, all through your day, whatever you're doing. If you're in the store, if you're in the postal line, if you're in the office, if the baby's crying, if the rain is raining on your picnic, if you get a letter in the mail with bad news, whatever it is, take a moment and breathe. Remember, there is something beyond all time. All of you, turn off the taximeter. Stop trying to rack up points and then whoosh, there it is. Okay, shall we sit with this?